The world is plagued by the Blight Storm, a vile cycle of destruction ravaging everything in its path. The only safe haven is the smoldering city where the mysterious Scorched Queen reigns. You are one of her viceroys, a pioneer sent into the wilds, tasked with establishing new settlements and acquiring valuable resources for the crown. Your goal is to help rebuild the smoldering city and secure the future of the Queen's subjects.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Against the Storm. I think that little intro painted a pretty decent picture of what this game might be about, but let me elaborate in case you didn't get the gist. Basically, this is a mix between city builders, and of those roguelike titles, where you play short sessions, which will either end in success or failure, but either way, you are still making progress. I will be honest, I had a hard time trying to find a way to put my thoughts into words on this title, so instead of struggling to list all the features the game has, we will instead play a session, and I will try my best to explain what's going on. At the start of a run, you are given a couple options that will influence the early conditions of your settlement. The starting population, the resources they bring with them, and a couple extra bonuses. For this game, we are playing on the easiest difficulty, mostly because this is my 5th ever settlement, and I would like to take it easy while talking about the game. Also, a big thanks to Hooded Horse for providing me with a copy. I hope I can do the game justice in the video. The goal of these settlements are represented by those two bars at the bottom of the screen. The blue one shows how close you are to gaining enough favor with the Scorched Queen, and once it's full, the run is deemed successful. The red one on the other hand is the opposite. That's the amount of impatience the Queen has, and it is constantly being filled up, and once it's full, the run is a failure. As we look around the map, there are small regions shrouded in fog, called glades. As we cut down trees, these glades are revealed one by one, and they hide different resources for you to use. But you might have noticed some bigger places with some ominous looking skulls on them. Those are glades with different challenges, which require the sacrificing of certain resources to overcome. But, if you are successful, you are granted either favor with the Queen, or with extra resources and bonuses to help you out. At the start, your main concern should be the establishment of the basic buildings. The most important that I found is the woodcutter's camp. That's the one that will not only supply your town with the most basic construction material, but it will also help reveal the nearby glades. And don't worry about the placement of these buildings too much. They can be moved around freely. At least on the easiest difficulty. I have no idea what kind of restrictions or obstacles the game places on you on higher settings. Anyways, these buildings also require workers. And the different races have different bonuses and preferences when it comes to their jobs. The beavers, for example, are the most obvious choice when it comes to woodcutters. Who would have thunk? When left alone, they would just pick the closest tree, and cut that one down, but with the use of the mark tool, you can tell them which ones to focus on, helping you carve your way through the forest, opening the way into the neighboring glades. From time to time, the game presents you with these cornerstones. They are a random selection of bonuses for your settlement. They can be purely beneficial, but sometimes they come with a downside as well. And if you don't like any of them, you can decline the current selection, and just accept a one-time payment of 10 coins, which you can use to trade for stuff. And these are the main challenges for the current run. Each of these slots will present you with 2 choices, and these will pretty much determine the path your settlement will go down. Accomplishing these is the primary way of gaining favor with the Scorched Queen, which, as I've said, is the main goal of these runs. They can be quite varied. They might need you to produce a certain number of something, or keep a certain number of a particular race of settlers in your town, or to keep a group particularly happy, things of that nature. Apart from granting favor with the Queen, these also give a lump sum of certain resources as a reward. Obviously, building roads can increase the walking speed of your people, making the town more efficient. Another set of unlocks the game can throw at you are blueprints. These will unlock certain buildings for you to build, or they can upgrade some of the basic resource gathering ones, making them not only more efficient, but they need to be upgraded to be able to exploit some of the richer resource nodes later on. You might want to keep in mind what goal you selected in the orders. If you are going for the production of a certain kind of item, you might want to look for a production building that can actually make that stuff. The game seemed to have a couple different kinds of weather conditions. Due to the setting of the game, it is always raining, even during these sunny periods, and in some of my previous games, I managed to unlock buildings that took advantage of the different kinds of rains. Basically, it can be calm, normal, or stormy. Stormy weather can be dangerous, as it seemed to increase the hostility of the surrounding forest, and it can negatively impact the well-being of your people. I'm not quite clear on the ins and outs of the hostility mechanic, but I think I'm safe in assuming that less of it is better. Some of the more advanced buildings require refined building materials, which you can make in this rickety workshop. There are specialized versions you can unlock, but at the start, this is what you have. And we just unlocked our first glade. It contains a couple berry bushes, and it seems there is something I haven't encountered before. A royal treasure stag. I didn't want to pursue this, since this was supposed to be a relaxed little introduction to the game for you all, and I would rather not experiment with features I'm not familiar with. And it seems this treasure stag thing is hiding in this dangerous glade. It has a timer on it, so I assume it's something akin to those random encounters in roguelike games, where you can get your hands on some rare stuff if you're quick on the draw. But as I've said, let's not worry about that for now, let's just focus on getting familiar with the basics. There are two starter buildings: the warehouse, and the hearth. Obviously, the warehouse is where the different resources and foods are stored. As for the hearth, that's what gives the citizens warmth in these inhospitable conditions. When it comes to building homes to them, you will need to place them near this place. You can see the range of the hearth when you try to place houses. And the storm is upon us. During the time it's active, your people become demoralized, and the hostility of the forest increases. Later on in this run, we will manage to raise the hostility so far that we will start getting a notification about it. As I've said, I have no idea what the hostility mechanic entails, but we can burn some extra fuel in the central hearth to stave off the negative effects of the storm if necessary. And here's the first challenge event we encountered. It's a small group of settlers. We have two options. We either accept them into the settlement, increasing the number of people we can put to work, or we can send them to the Citadel, granting some other bonus. These choices require different kinds of resources, and sometimes, the availability of these can be what makes the choice for you. Thankfully, we had enough food in the form of berries to convince them to join us. And it seems we managed to satisfy the requirements for one of the orders we selected earlier. This was enough to fill up one bar on the favor meter at the bottom. Filling one of these bars also lowers the overall impatience the queen has, so it's a double win for us. And we have more buildings we can unlock. We have quite a few berry bushes around, so upgrading the herbalist camp might not be the worst idea. Thankfully, we don't need to manually upgrade the one we had, it automatically becomes the advanced version. As for those wayward settlers, the berries have been delivered, and the assigned beaver just finished negotiating with them, and they are now part of our community. And it seems we can unlock another cornerstone. I am not experienced with the game enough to really make educated choices yet. All of these look quite beneficial. I suppose we can try to keep things calm, so I went with the leftmost option. And we unlocked another small glade. This one has a pair of berry bushes, a small cache of materials, and a dozen tiles of fertile soil. When it comes to these caches, you can either claim it as your own, or send it back to the Citadel. Personally, I prefer sending them home. This usually gives a small boost to the Queen's favor with you. In this case, it's half a bar, so if you do this enough times, you can easily shave off a few bars from the overall goal. And we have some migration happening. I wouldn't mind having some planks, and having more beavers could help with clearing out the forest a bit quicker. As time goes on, more and more orders can be selected. Each slot has a timer on it, so you know when new ones can be opened. These seemed quite easy. We just need to unlock some more glades, and satisfy the housing needs for 16 people. The stonecutter camp ran out of resource nodes nearby. But as I've said earlier, there is no need to worry. These buildings can be moved around freely, so we can just plop it down next to another group of nodes. Now, remember those fertile soil patches we discovered earlier? We need a farm to work on them, but we don't have that unlocked yet. In the meantime, we can prepare them by cultivating them, and then simply place the farm building next to them when we are ready. Another order finished, another point of favor gained. At this point, we are ready to expand more, and discover more resources. I'm not comfortable enough to cut our way into any of the dangerous glades, but we can definitely look into the small ones. Nice. We have the required number of human settlers to satisfy the requirements of another goal, so that's another brownie point with the Queen. I suppose we could go for the smokehouse, so we can process meat if we ever get any. Some of the goals could ask for packs of provisions, so the provisioner isn't the worst choice. And we have a farm now. We can place it next to those cultivated fields, making sure we cover all of them. Humans seem to be the best option for farming, so that's the race we will choose to work in that place. This glade had a couple flax fields, some broccoli patches, and a small cache. We will of course send the cache back home to gain more favor from the Queen. At this point, we are ready to speed up our rate of expansion, and build a second woodcutter's camp. I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind having a constant supply of roots. I did run into some situations where people starved in my earlier games, and this should help with avoiding that happening here. We only had 2 beavers free to be assigned to the camp, but we can just free the third one up from the nearby cache recovery job. That lizard can deal with the rest. And with that, the speed of woodcutting is doubled. It seems we ran out of berry bushes in our starting area. Good thing we have plenty of them left in other places. I don't think I could really make use of any of these right now, so I just went with my gut, and chose the bakery. In fact, there is very little advanced production happening in this particular playthrough. We are just going to keep getting very lucky with the choice of orders we get, and we will not be forced to set up any production for advanced items. But basically, they are just as you would expect. They need certain materials to be made, and once we have enough, we can send them to the Citadel to finish the order, and gain favor with the Queen. We have 3 more orders we can unlock. Let's see what we have on the table. Now, this is more like it. Both orders require the production of advanced items. Since we have the provisioner unlocked, I chose the one that we can make there. This one requires the unlocking of 2 dangerous glades in quick succession. We will need to do these sooner or later anyways, so I went with that. The second option on this one requires the acquisition of 2 ancient tablets, and the discovery of 2 glades. These tablets usually come from dangerous glades as a reward, so I think we can go for that one. Nice. We have 4 clay deposits, another dozen farm patches, and a rainpunk drill. This is the first time I found one of these, and it seems it can unlock some coal deposits when we finish one of its tasks. That seems like a better option for us long term. And we have enough tools to do this, so we might as well see what happens exactly. And with that, we managed to complete another order, taking us one step closer to the completion of this run. Well, it went down pretty much as it said it would. We finished the task of that event, and now we have 3 coal patches in that place. This is a great excuse to try out a building I haven't used before, the mine. But before that, we have a notification about high hostility. As I've said before, we can burn some extra wood in the hearth to offset this effect. Later on, when we have some coal from the mine, we can also burn that, so we don't have to sacrifice precious construction materials. Not really sure we can make use of any of these. We are already making enough planks in the old workshop, and we don't really have any leather or grapes to take advantage of the other 2. What I really like about this game is that you can simply click on the resource nodes, and it will tell you which buildings can exploit them. You can even click on the building icon there to select them. Now, I do want to leave some room for the farm later down the line, so instead of building the mine right away, we can cut down a couple extra trees to make room. Looking at our list of goals on the top right, we are just one building away from finishing the task that required us to house 16 people. Might as well finish it up. And in the meantime, we managed to store up enough planks from the workshop to build these more advanced houses, which can shelter more people, making it a tiny bit more space efficient. Here are the next set of cornerstones we can choose from. We already have the calming one, I guess that one stacks the more we use it. This time though, I think I will go with the Rich Glades one. It seems we don't have all the resources we need to finish building this place just yet. Don't worry, as we progress, we will discover some of these materials in certain places. At this point, I was ready to start tackling these dangerous looking areas with the skulls over them. Some were hidden behind a thick wall of trees, which would take a long time to cut through, so I went with one that didn't require a lot of deforesting to get to. With those new houses, we can tick another goal off the list of orders. Not gonna lie, this is one of the most laid back and easy runs I've had so far. I was kind of hoping I would be struggling to keep the queen happy with me, but the kind of goals the game presented were on the easier side for sure. Nice. This group of humans just happen to have the 2 gears we need to finish building that mine we placed earlier. The only thing missing now are the bricks, but we can make those on our own. Anyways, we just broke into one of the dangerous glades. These places present you with another event you need to accomplish, but you need to be fast about it. The longer you leave these active, the more hostility they build up in the forest. Some of their choices will also give a temporary hazard to the settlement, for the duration of the solving process. This one, for example, will contaminate your foodstuffs if you choose to go down the red path. Thankfully, we have enough materials to go with the other one, so we can solve this event with relative ease. There is also a medium-sized cache in the area. Sending this back to the Citadel will give us more favor, at the expense of more tools. Well, it seems there is another one. Sadly, we just ran out of tools to do what I wanted, so we will just leave it to the side until we can send it home. The mine now only misses bricks to finish building. Thankfully, we should have enough clay stored up, and the workshop can make bricks quite easily. I told it to focus on that, and it will get built eventually. And our herbalist ran out of berry bushes again. Fear not, we have plenty in other areas. Needless to say, these bigger events take a lot longer to finish than anything we've done so far. The left order needs us to boost the resolve of the beaverfolk to 22. There is no way we can do that without massive effort, so we will just do the second one, which only needs the construction of 10 decorative buildings to be built. A much easier task. And on this one, building 30 paved roads can be done much more quickly than producing all that other stuff, so we will go with that. Now, we have a couple big nests in this area. They can be exploited by the trappers camp. These are the advanced versions of these resource nodes, so we are very fortunate that we already upgraded the relevant camps earlier. We can start gathering them up. This storm brought extra hostility with it once more. Thankfully, it's not severe enough, so we can just burn some extra wood in the hearth to offset it. Out of the 3 races we have access to right now, lizard folk are the best at hunting, so we use them to work in the trapper's cabin. Another set of cornerstones where I'm not sure which would be the best choice at a quick glance. So I just declined all of them, and chose to get 10 coins instead. This looks pretty standard. 1 root, and 3 patches of mushrooms. But the main goal was to cut our way deeper into the forest, so we can work our way in some more. Well, lucky us. We need to build 30 paved roads to accomplish that order we selected earlier, and we just happen to have 30 stones stored up. We can do this, but just barely. Okay. Only 10 more and we are done with that. On the tracker below, we only need 4 more bars to fill up, and this run will be considered a success. And the queen isn't too angry, so we are in a good place to make this a comfortable win. In the meantime, the mine got completed, and we can assign people to it, and start extracting that coal. It will be a better source of fuel for the hearth when the next storm hits. And it seems beavers are the most obvious choice in this building. They seem to be getting some extra resolve if they work there. This glade is now open to us. We have a couple abandoned caches, a damaged building we can renovate if we want, and of course, a dangerous event we need to resolve to not get into too much trouble. But, With opening this place, we just started a timer. Remember one of our earlier goals we selected. We need to open 2 separate dangerous glades in quick succession. I wanted to knock that one out now, so I moved the woodcutters, and got to work on the next one. We can also deal with that other one, where we need to build 10 decorative buildings. The smaller ones only need a single plank to build, and we have plenty of those. Let's do it, that's a very easy favor point. And that's 10. Now it's just a matter of time. Let's not forget about this threat either. We need to deal with it before it gets out of hand. Nice. We managed to cut into this next glade on time, and we managed to build those decorative buildings, so that's 2 more favor with the queen. Only need 2 more, and we win. Unfortunately, the next dangerous event we need to deal with require resources that we don't have, so we need to find some other way of solving it. As we deal with the previous dangerous event, these totems start popping up, since that's the effect of the path we chose. We better deal with them, they don't look too friendly. Nice. This large cache will give us a full point of favor, and we have plenty of tools to do it. We better get on it, it will put us only 1 point away from success. At this point, it really doesn't matter what we choose, we are minutes away from finishing the run. Look at that favor bar. Only need a tiny bit more, and we're done. This will be our final push. We can just send this cache home, and finish the run. And done. By far my most relaxed and easy run ever. This unlocks some achievements, and some resources we can use to upgrade the Citadel, which will make future runs easier for us. Don't forget, this was played on the most forgiving difficulty level. Higher ones should be a lot harder. Anyways, we are back on the world map. This is where we can select where we want to build our next settlement. As far as I can remember the tutorial, the goal is to reach those green pillars of light, but I didn't want to rush things on my first cycle, so I just zigzagged my way around the map. After we complete a run, we can go back to the Citadel, and spend the resources we earned. First, let's cash in our achievements, and get the rewards we earned. Most of these only grant some extra experience, but some will result in some other bonus. And we managed to get enough XP to level up, which unlocks some buildings, and we even gained access to a fourth race we can use as settlers in our settlements from now on. The Harpies. And let's not forget to spend our hard-earned resources, and buy an upgrade for the Citadel. We can only afford one at the moment. These can give all sorts of bonuses. They can increase the points we can use to give ourselves bonuses when we embark, or we can increase the movement speed of our citizens by a tiny amount, or unlock features to give you more control over your town. For now, I just chose to have more points for bonuses when we set up a run, and not worry too much about making deep choices. We can also enter our home in the Citadel, where our Aunt Lori can give us some lore about the world, while we settle down next to the fireplace. Hey! I think I just realized why she's called Lori. Anyways, this is pretty much it for this video. I really hope you like the small change of pace. And once again, a big thank you for Hooded Horse for giving me a key for the game. I really wasn't sure how to approach the coverage of this one. There are so many moving parts, with lots of systems interacting with each other. Instead of struggling to explain everything, I landed on this format, where I just play a game, and try my best to try and explain why I did the things that I did. I am sure I made many mistakes, and more experienced players undoubtedly tore their hair out in frustration about my choices, but hey, I only barely managed to hit level 5 in this video. Anyways, if you haven't done it already, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel, and leaving a like would also let me know that this video was worth making. If you feel that it was good enough, and you can afford it, please consider going to my Ko-fi page, which you can find in the description, and donate an amount that you feel is appropriate. And if you did like what you've seen, there should be links to some of my other videos and playlists on the screen. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next one.